During a time of great hardship for the Israelites, who were under Philistine rule for 40 years, there lived a man named Manoah from the tribe of Dan in the town of Zorah. His wife was barren and had never had children. One day, an angel of the Lord appeared to her and announced that she would conceive a son. This child would be a Nazirite, consecrated to God from the womb, and his hair was never to be cut. The woman was instructed not to drink wine or any fermented drink, and to avoid impure food, because her son would begin to deliver Israel from the hands of the Philistines. Manoah's wife ran to tell him everything. Manoah, seeking further details, prayed for the angel to return. God answered his prayer, and the angel returned to confirm the instructions. In time, the couple had a son, whom they named Samson. As Samson grew, the Lord blessed him, and the Spirit of God began to move in him, especially while he was in Mahaneh-dan, between Zorah and Eshtaol. As an adult, Samson went to Timnah, where he became interested in a Philistine woman. He asked his parents to arrange the marriage, which surprised them, as they had hoped he would marry someone from their own people. Nevertheless, Samson insisted, as this was part of God's plan to confront the Philistines. On his way to Timnah, a young lion attacked him, but with the strength of the Spirit of the Lord, Samson tore the lion apart with his bare hands. Later, he found a swarm of bees and honey inside the lion's carcass, and gave some to his parents, without mentioning its origin. At his wedding feast, Samson posed a riddle to 30 Philistines. Out of the eater came something to eat, and out of the strong came something sweet. If they could solve the riddle, he would give them 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. But if they failed, they would owe him. Unable to solve the riddle, the Philistines pressured Samson's wife, who, under duress, revealed the answer. Furious at the betrayal, Samson went to Ashkelon, killed 30 men, and gave their clothes to the Philistines to settle the wager. Later, when Samson discovered that his wife had been given to another man, he caught 300 foxes, tied torches to their tails, and set them loose in the Philistines' grain fields, destroying their crops. In retaliation, the Philistines killed his wife and father-in-law, which further enraged Samson, prompting him to take revenge on them. When the Philistines learned that Samson had burned their crops, they asked, "Who did this?" The answer was, "Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because his wife was given to another man." Enraged, the Philistines went up and burned Samson's wife and her family. In response, Samson declared, "Since you acted like this, I won't stop until I get my revenge." He attacked them with great fury, killing many of them, and then retreated to a cave in the rock of Etam. The Philistines then marched against Judah to capture Samson. Alarmed, the men of Judah asked, "Why have you come to fight us?" They replied, "We have come to capture Samson, to do to him as he did to us." So 3,000 men from Judah went to the cave and said to Samson, "Don't you realize the Philistines rule over us? What have you done to us?" Samson replied, "I only did to them what they did to me." The men of Judah agreed to hand him over to the Philistines, after Samson made them promise not to kill him themselves. As Samson was being brought to Lehi, the Philistines came toward him shouting. Then the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon Samson, and the ropes on his arms became like burned flax, falling off. He found the jawbone of a donkey and used it to kill 1,000 men. After the battle, exhausted and thirsty, Samson called out to God, who opened a spring of water from a hollow place to refresh him. Later, Samson went to Gaza and spent the night with a woman. When the people of Gaza learned of his presence, they surrounded the place, planning to kill him at dawn. However, at midnight, Samson got up, tore out the city gates, along with the posts, and carried them to the top of a hill near Hebron. Sometime afterward, Samson fell in love with a woman named Delilah, who lived in the valley of Sorek. The leaders of the Philistines came to her, offering 1,100 pieces of silver to discover the secret of Samson's strength. After several unsuccessful attempts, Samson finally revealed to Delilah that his strength lay in his hair because he was a Nazirite. Delilah made Samson sleep on her lap and called a man to shave off his 7 braids, causing his strength to leave him. The Philistines captured him, gouged out his eyes, and took him to Gaza, where he was imprisoned and forced to grind grain. However, his hair began to grow back, a sign that his strength could return. Meanwhile, the Philistines rejoiced at his capture and praised their god, Dagon.